Okay, in today's video, we are tackling MyProtein.com. They are in a very, very competitive landscape. Of course, they've been one of the market leaders for a long, long time. I go back to when I was 16, I had my first ever protein shake. It was from MyProtein. Didn't taste very good back then, but it's came a long way. However, right now, I think they're struggling. I think they have got a very, very generic position in the market, and we're here to fix that today. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit of a tease of what's to come. Do not judge my drawings. This is the overall message, but we've got a tagline for them. And I think by you watching it, you can start to look at your own brand and your own business and go, okay, where do I stand? Where's the market leader? How can I reposition myself? So this right here is the final image. Don't judge a book by its cover. Let's get into it.
Right. Whenever you're ready, give me the summary and we'll find the position.
So today we are talking about MyProtein.com.
Okay, MyProtein, got it. What's pulling you most strongly, the gap or the counter position?
Well, first thing I want to address is the landscape, the competitive landscape for, MyProtein, companies like that, bulk powders, Optimum Nutrition. So the UK sports nutrition market is crowded with brands who are vying for value, quality and authenticity, which is leaving MyProtein's, quote, number one online claim diluted.
Right, so everyone's claiming to be number one, everyone's claiming value and quality. It's all just noise. What's the actual gap you're seeing in that crowded space?
So before we talk about gap, let's talk about competitors. Competitor, bulk, their position is no BS, transparency and value. Their weakness is less global recognition. Competitor Optimum Nutrition, their position is gold standard, premium quality. Their weakness is their higher price point and they're less accessible. Competitor 3 is Applied Nutrition. They're a UK challenger. They've got gym culture and they're influencer driven. Their weakness is they're much less established scientific trust than MyProtein. And finally, the competitor Protein Works. Their position is direct value competitor, UK based, but their weakness is taste and texture issues, sometimes noted as grittier.
Okay, so we have a landscape where everyone is either about value, premium quality, or a specific gym culture vibe. And MyProtein's number one online claim is just getting lost in that. What's the actual open gap that none of these competitors are truly owning?
I'll get to the gap next, but I think we really have to highlight the struggle that MyProtein have got right now, which is looking at Reddit research and, digging deep into other blogs and stuff and customer feedback. Customers are obviously driven by value and authenticity, but MyProtein's current strategy is actively eroding trust on both fronts. The dominant emotional trigger is betrayal, not just frustration. Customers came for cheap protein and they got price gouging. They want genuine value and transparent pricing, not the theatre of a permanent sale. There is also a growing undercurrent of suspicion around formula changes and product authenticity.
That's a strong point. So it's not just about a crowded market, it's about a brand actively losing trust because of their own actions. The permanent sale and suspicion around formula changes are creating a sense of betrayal. So if betrayal is the dominant emotional trigger, what's the open gap that MyProtein could step into, addressing that specific anxiety that they themselves have created?
Well, I think, at least this is maybe my biased opinion, but over the years, countless years, there used to be cheaper protein. So they've kind of abandoned that original cheaper protein position and they've just not established a new one. There's nothing new here. Which I think has created significant trust and value gap. So their current position is very generic. I mean, they say they're the number one online sports nutrition brand. They pair this with that aspirational kind of tagline of choose you, fuel your ambition. So there's no quality claim. There's no ingredient story. There's no community story unless I've missed it. It's just a market share statistic dressed up as a position. So the gap is very open.
So they've abandoned their original position of cheaper protein and they haven't replaced it with anything meaningful. Number one online and choose you are just empty statements in a market that's now suspicious of them. The gap then is wide open for a brand to genuinely address the trust and value issues that MyProtein has created. What's the counter position that MyProtein could own, given this context of betrayal and a lack of clear identity?
Well, first, before we get to that, I think they have to. I mean, you look at their website, and immediately it's dotted all over. And I get that this is maybe what they have to do, but every call to action, every banner, every product card has got a sale price on it. So the main hero section of their website is up to 50% off plus extra 10% off on a £35 spend, or an extra 15% off 65 spend. Use code MORE. I mean, let's be honest, the code thing is getting ridiculous now.
So the constant discounting and complex codes are just reinforcing the idea that their pricing isn't genuine, further eroding trust. It's a race to the bottom that's making customers feel manipulated rather than valued. If that's the problem, what's the counterposition that directly addresses this theatre of a permanent sale and rebuilds trust around value?
Yeah, I think just before I get to that, a couple more things I want to read out just so you've got full context. But like looking at the customer intelligence research that we've done, just pulling a few quotes here from Reddit. Someone said that's a 45% increase. 45% in all caps. There's also a sweary word in there. I simply won't order. And someone else wrote, to the people from MyProtein here looking, a hearty F you, and for F's sake, quote, discount codes that are fake. And someone else wrote, their sole goal was to raise their stock price back up. Someone else wrote, whey prices are a joke. So the dominant frustration is price gouging and fake discount. The dominant desire is they want genuine value, transparent pricing, and a trusted product quality. So the customers are using visceral language here, like anger, betrayal, expletives. This is not mild dissatisfaction. This is a customer base that feels actively deceived.
The customer sentiment is clear. They feel deceived by the pricing and the misleading discounts. This isn't just about getting a good deal. It's about a fundamental breakdown of trust. So if the dominant desire is genuine value, transparent pricing, and trusted product quality, what's the counterposition that MyProtein could adopt to directly address this anger and betrayal and genuinely rebuild that trust?
So I think they have to kill the fake discount culture immediately. And honestly, like, there could be an element of them holding their hands up here and just talking about the discount code thing. You know, if we wanted to get really disruptive with marketing, we could even just address it and address the fake discount code culture. Now, you'd have to word that properly because you're part of it. I'm a massive leader in that. So you'd have to address it head on. You'd have to be pretty disruptive around it, like Ryanair are with their marketing. And then you're going to have to figure out what transparency means. Is it high quality ingredients? Is it stable prices for the mass market? That's, I think, a gap, is like really leaning into stable prices despite massive things happening in the world.
So the counterposition involves killing the fake discount culture, potentially even acknowledging their past role in it, and then committing to genuine transparency. This transparency could be about high quality ingredients, but more powerfully, it could be about stable, fair pricing in a volatile market. That's a strong angle. How would you articulate that in a single sharp line that MyProtein could own? Something that directly counters the current feeling of betrayal.
Well, I think there is a lot of companies now, you know, you think of Huel and other brands, that nutritional brands and stuff, like, people are getting very curious on where their food is coming from. And I think, like, if MyProtein were to do a very transparent campaign of where exactly their protein comes from, how they source it, all the way to an athlete, you know, consuming that protein, I think that could be a big thing. So the clear transparency, almost like creating roadmaps and journeys for all of the major products, just so that people can go, whoa, I know exactly where this came from. it's a bit silly, but thinking about the way a farmer would talk about exactly where their products have come from, as opposed to supermarket meats and things like that.
That's an interesting angle. So instead of just saying transparent, they could actually show the journey of their ingredients from source to athlete, almost like a farm to table approach for supplements. That would be a powerful way to rebuild trust and differentiate them from competitors who are just making vague quality claims. So if we combine the idea of killing the fake discount culture with this radical transparency about sourcing, what's the one line that captures this new position for MyProtein?
You tell me and I'll tell you if I agree.
Okay, how about this? MyProtein, the only nutrition you can trace from source to shake, with prices you can always trust.
I love that. I love that. And I think what we can do and talk like alongside this is almost champion certain products that haven't had a price change. You know, I know this is like tough, but in a very competitive landscape, I think that's a huge flex to say, hey, our whey protein hasn't changed. Prices in 13 months, despite a war, despite extra taxes, despite X, Y, Z. Now, they won't be able to do that for every product, but I think champion certain products that haven't changed price is a really, really powerful play.
That's a smart way to reinforce the prices you can always trust part of the position. Highlighting specific products that have maintained stable pricing despite external pressures directly addresses the customer's anxiety about price gouging and fake discounts. It's a tangible demonstration of their commitment to genuine value. So we have the position, MyProtein, the only nutrition you can trace from source to shake with prices you can always trust. What's the first thing that changes based on this?
They have to look at where their stuff comes from. And, you know, if they are proud of where that comes from, then they'll go ahead with something like this. So let's lock this training down. That's us done. I think if someone from MyProtein is watching this, it should be helpful for them. That's us essentially found their gap, their opportunity. Let's finalise everything here.
The position is MyProtein, the only nutrition you can trace from source to shake with prices you can always trust. That's the position. Everything from here, the ads, the content, the website, runs through that line. If it doesn't reinforce that position, it doesn't go out. This new direction should help MyProtein rebuild trust and carve out a distinct space in the market.
So there you have it. That's my honest take after doing a bunch of research on how MyProtein should reposition themselves in the market. I'd love to know if you found this kind of video useful, valuable, then let me know. Who should I check next? What business or brand should I check their position on? Find a gap, find an opportunity and display it. Let me know in the comments.